up guys, and welcome to another video on neo-soul improvisation. So last time I briefly mentioned inflections, which are what I think of as little rhythmic and melodic embellishments in our lines. So for example, if I played this chord, that would be how I would play it without an inflection, but if I wanted to add an inflection in, I would do this little roll here. So that is just one of many examples of inflections, but they're going to really improve and strengthen your improvisation when it comes to improvising over neo-soul and R&B chord progressions. So without further ado, I want to show you guys a bunch of my favorite inflections which you guys are going to be able to use when you are improvising. Okay, so here is inflection number 1. Okay, so this inflection is centered around using our second finger to roll up to the third finger, all while our pinky plays something. So in this example, let's take an E and an A. I'm gonna have the second finger on the E, fifth finger on the A, and we're gonna flick up to the third finger on an F sharp. So the chords I've been using so far in this video have been E minor 11 to A minor 11. So this is a perfect spot to do it because we've got in E, we've got 1 and 11, and then we're gonna flick up to the 9 here, this F sharp being the 9. So, and then you can use your thumb and make a little melody out of it. So the beauty of these inflections is that for the most part, you can use these wherever you want. So if we want to use this one in a few different spots, we can do more or less what I did in the example. So be sure to experiment with that and see what you come up with on your own. Alright guys, so inflection number 2 involves another really simple flick. It's just a semitone flick. So if we're on a black note, it's beautiful because we can actually just flick with one finger. We don't even have to use two fingers. So in this example, let's take a look at a flick from a B flat either to a B or an A. So on our E minor 11, here's our B flat to B flick. And again, I'm just using my middle finger here. Or B flat to A flick. Now another way that is really useful to do this is to do third to fourth finger, because then if you do happen to be on white notes like let's say B to C, you can just flick like that. And again, even here you can do the third to fourth finger, and that can be useful for situations where you want to do a double flick. So I like to do B flat to B and then B flat down to A. So the B flat to B is third then fourth finger, and then B flat to A is all third finger. And then we can turn that into a lick. And then right here, I actually did a little whole tone flick, very similar to a semitone flick, except I'm just flicking a whole tone, so I'm doing third to fourth. Really quick guys, before we move on, just wanted to let you know that I just put out 20 neo-soul improv exercises. So if you want to dive deeper into these inflections or just neo-soul improv in general, a lot of these inflections are built into the licks and chord progressions that I put together as part of that PDF package, which also has backing tracks and video examples. So that's enough shameless self-promotion, but I will also throw out there that I really, truly appreciate every sale, because those sales are the exact reason why I am able to have the time and energy to keep making videos like these for you guys. So thanks so much if you decide to get one, and if not, feel free to leave some comments and ask me questions there, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Alright, enough of that, let's go back to our inflections. Alright, so inflection 3 is a little bit trickier. It's going to be a double flick, and the interval is going to be a little bit bigger. We're working with a fourth here. So to do this inflection, we're going to need 4 different fingers, and in the key of E minor, what we're going to do is for the first half of our flick, we're going to do 1 and 4, and then each of those is going to flick up to 2 and 5. So for the purposes of this example, we'll put 1 on E and 4 on A, and then the E will flick up to the 2 finger on F sharp, and the A will flick up to the 5th finger on B. So it looks like this. And we can go back and forth. And of course, we can apply this to other spots as well. So be sure to experiment with that one as well. It's really a lot of fun to mess around with. Really quick, before we move on to another inflection, I want to show you how to finger that same double flick if you are using black notes. So what we can do is actually put 2 and 4 for the first interval, and then 1 and 5 for the second interval. So let's, for this example, do B flat with the 2, E flat with the 4, and then the B flat will flick up to 1 on C, and the E flat will flick up to 5 on F. So if you're in the key of D flat major, we can do this. Now for this second interval, I'm doing actually a fifth, so I'm doing 2 on E flat and 4 on B flat. So it's a little bit of a stretch, but essentially the same thing. These also flick up a fifth, and we have F with the 1 and C with the 5. So fourth intervals and fifth intervals, but in either case, this double flick. All right, so inflection number 4 is going to be a triplet roll. Now this is a really simple one that you've probably heard many times, but you might not have thought about some different ways that you could use it and how to even finger it. So let's take a look at it today. So literally all we have to do is just 3, 4, 3, and down the 2. That's it. So we're doing A, B flat, A, that's our triplet. And then we land on the 2, which is going to be on G. And we can get that kind of sound. So this little triplet roll works really, really great on blue notes, or in other words, notes that we might steal from a blues scale. So let's say we're doing a progression of D flat to F minor. And of course the F minor blues scale would be F, A flat, B flat, B, C, E flat, and F. So let's steal that little B flat to B motion that we get in this F blues scale. So we're actually getting the tritone in there. And actually, this is going to sound great over both the D flat and the F minor. So check this out. Alright guys, so inflection number 5, which is really, really versatile and useful, is a simple roll. And what we're doing is we're just taking a chord that fits in our right hand and we're just rolling up or rolling down. So what I was just doing was I was taking this D minor 11 chord, which from bottom to top is 1, 5, 9, flat 3, 11, flat 7. And I'm just rolling up the portion that I have in my right hand. You can also roll down. Now we'll do the same thing in A minor 11. So the way I think of this is I could just play the one note that I'm going to arrive on. So let's say we're arriving on C, and we're landing on the G when we get to the A minor. But it's so much more interesting to me to get to that C with a roll, rolling that chord. And get to the G the same way. Alright guys, well I hope you've enjoyed going through some of these neo-soul inflections with me here today. Now the great news is these are super fun to mess around with and they're incredibly versatile. So make sure that whenever you're playing neo-soul or R&B and you're messing with some different chord progressions, you be sure to mess around with some of these inflections. you will find that you can insert them into your lines super easily, super casually, and they're really gonna help you express yourself better and just make your lines sound way more interesting. And if you do need some more progressions to mess around with, of course, check out 20 Neo Soul improv exercises, which has backing tracks, and also Jazz Styles and Neo Soul, which I put out with jazzlessonvideos.com, which also is a bunch of Neo Soul progressions with really awesome backing tracks featuring Cory Henry on drums. So be sure to check those out, guys, if you want to practice these with some awesome play-alongs. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching. I will be back here next week with some more video content for you guys. And as always, please leave any questions you have in the comments. Smash that like button to help me move up in the YouTube algorithm. And be sure that if you haven't already, click subscribe and click the little bell to turn on notifications. All right, guys, see you next time.